Hello! Welcome to the movie rant. Sorry it's been a little bit. I returned to work and I just haven't had the time and energy to film this. But here we are. I'm gonna try to keep up the movie rants. Probably infrequently though. So as you could tell from the title of this video, I marathoned Cinderella movies. This was in honor of returning to work. It felt appropriate. Especially that first week where all we did was clean stuff. Anyways, our first entry is, of course, 1950 Disney classic. Hold this. So fun trivia. If you want to connect it to Sleeping Beauty, you can do it two different ways. So Verna Felton, who's the voice of Flora, on Sleeping Beauty, is the fairy godmother here. So she had previous fairy experience. Also, Maleficent's voice, Eleanor Audley is the name of the actress. She is the voice of the evil stepmother herself, Lady Tremaine. Additionally, there's a behind-the-scenes connection. A lady named Helen or Helene? I'm not sure. Stanley was the live-action reference for both Cinderella and Aurora. So, if you thought it was a new thing for Disney to hire the same people over and over again, it's not. Also, one thing noteworthy, in my geekiness, after the stepsisters destroy her dress and she runs out into the garden and cries under a willow tree, willow trees were a symbol of mourning in, like, pre-Victorian times throughout history. So some earlier versions actually of the fairy tale had her crying at her mother's grave. So I think it's still, like, kind of referring to the weeping on her mother's grave without being too morbid. They're kind of a little bit kidifying it, but yeah. What Disney do. I am sad, though, that this movie kind of destroyed the names Anastasia and Drizella for generations. They're good names. Also, another fun fact, the prince is voiced by two different guys. One for singing and one for speaking. This is not unheard of in Disney films at all. I'm sure you know of some examples. It's just kind of weird. He only has 7 spoken words, so, like, why couldn't the singing guy speak the 7 words? Also, one thing I always wanted the movie to explore was, and I haven't seen one that does, is how does one get a fairy godmother? Like, was Cindy's mom friends with the fairy or something? I would like to know. I'm accepting applications for fairy godmothers, is what I'm saying here. Anyways, on to the next movie. Up next, we had what was my mom's favorite, which was The Slipper and the Rose. I watched it on an app called Tubi. Tubi. You can look it up on the computer. It is a free service. You don't have to download anything. You can just watch it on the computer. It is free with ads. But yeah, holy crap, this movie's long. It was 2 hours and 22 minutes. It does have songs written by the Sherman Brothers, who wrote a bunch of Disney movies like Mary Poppins and Bedknobs and Broomsticks and It's a Small World After All. So, as well as non-Disney movies, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Charlotte's Web. But yeah, so it kind of sounds still like a Disney movie. And the costumes in Slipper and the Rose are just gorgeous. They kind of set it in, like, around the time of the French Revolution, like those dresses, and they are so beautiful. If for no other reason, watch it for the clothes. But also, don't watch this movie if you don't like real mice. There's real mice, like, everywhere. But overall, highly recommend. And that was The Slipper and the Rose on Tubi. Now, up next, we watched the 1997 version of the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella musical, which is now on Disney Plus with Brandy. There is an earlier version that is here on YouTube. I will link it below if you want to watch it. You could compare. It's from 1957 and starred Julie Andrews. I know, Mary Poppins herself. There is also another one from 1965 because the Julie Andrews ones had such high ratings, they redid it in 1965. I will link that one below as well. It stars Leslie Ann Warren. Very good as well. But my girl Brandy. I'm a child of the 90s. Yeah, both of those others definitely worth a watch. But yeah, 90s nostalgia. Whitney Houston is the fairy godmother, and just, it's so perfect. Like, I tried watching the old ones again, and it's just, I can't. It's not a comparison. Also, Bernadette Peters as the evil stepmother is just so good. If you guys don't know who Bernadette Peters is, if you watched Animaniacs growing up, she was the voice of Rita the cat in the Rita and Runt little sketches. Yeah, one thing that was a nice departure in this from previous entries in our marathon is the Prince and Cindy actually meet before the ball and have like a normal conversation, bonding over their kind of overwhelming life roles that they've been born into. Also, I do want to say Cinderella's house is gorgeous. It looks like it was decorated by Gustav Klimt, you know, the guy who painted the Kiss thing. It's a feast for the eyes. Also, this version, the Brandy one, also broke viewership records when it debuted, and it holds the record for best-selling video for a made-for-TV movie. The only thing I think could have been improved, just personal nitpickiness, is the glass slipper itself. It looks pretty plastic and just kind of basic. So, guys, put a little more bling on that. After that, we watched the Jim Henson version. I did not know there was a Jim Henson version either. A good friend of mine, Jessica, who I'm sure will comment, she introduced me to this. It is also here on YouTube. I will link it below. It's called Hey Cinderella. It's just under an hour long, but also oddly racist for frogs. Just need that to be out there. They're really mean to frogs in this movie. Everybody be picking on Kermit. I don't know why. It's a very silly rant, I know. I will admit, it has been a long time since I watched something pre-Muppets Christmas Carol. I'd gotten used to Brian Henson's voice as Kermit, so initially it did sound a little weird hearing Jim Henson's voice again. So was just one of those like, wait, this was how he sounded. And my favorite character was the dog Rufus. But yeah, highly recommend. Especially if you have less than an hour and want to watch some Cinderella stuff. Next, we have another entry on Disney Plus. Oh, did I mention the Brandy one was on Disney Plus? I don't remember if I did. It is. Anyways, next entry on Disney Plus is Ever After, which in my opinion, it has the loveliest glass slipper. This version, much like Slipper and the Rose, is rooted in a definite time. This one being rooted in the Renaissance. The fairy godmother is recast as Leonardo da Vinci, and I'm like, such a great idea. Angelica Houston is such a great stepmother. Like, I remember when I watched it in the theater, there was a guy who was watching it, and there was a moment where she was being particularly mean to Cinderella, and the guy in the theater was like, that bitch. It's just one of those, like, seen a movie in the theater moments. Just sticks in there. But yeah, I love how, in Ever After, one of her stepsisters is actually, like, nice to Cinderella. It's not just two mean ones. There's one who tries to meet her halfway, and it's genuinely a good sister to her. Yeah, I very much recommend this one. But yeah, and it's one of the few movies to show the wedding dress to show wedding dresses with non-white fabric, which is insanely rare in movies. Also, it's kind of a nitpick of mine. Historical side rant. White wedding dresses weren't really a thing before Queen Victoria. Before that, you'd just wear whatever your nicest dress was. Whatever color. Green, blue, did not matter. Your nicest dress. But yeah, then Victoria decided she wanted to get married in white satin, and everybody thought Victoria was pretty cool, I guess. So here we are. The wedding industry. But yeah, that was my historical rant. I also did watch a YouTube video, which I will link below, which is just a little, dissertation, that's not the word. Analysis, better word. Entitled Cinderella, Stop Blaming the Victim. It just kind of addresses how modern society seems to hold Cinderella up to kind of unjust standards. I recommend that video too. I know there's going to be so many links down below. Sorry about that. I did not watch the 2015 live action remake. I meant to have it as part of my marathon, but they took it off Disney Plus, and I did not buy it. But also, it wasn't really one of my favorites anyways. So, I'm not that put out by it not being there. But yeah, hope you enjoyed my little Cinderella rant. A dream is a wish your heart makes. I don't know how to wrap this up. Hope you enjoyed my ranting. Maybe watch them too, and we'll see you in the next video. Happy viewings.